Everyone, I warmly welcome you to the first English debate of the year, which is in the senior division. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the members of the English Debating Society for 2024. Our new president is Isha Lodha. This year, we have created the post of vice president as well, and this honor has been given to Achintya Bansal. Samriddhi Singh is the new secretary of the English Debating Society, while Tejasvi Tolia is the timekeeper. Congratulations to you all. Let's give them a big hand, everyone. I now request the president of the Debating Society, Isha Lodha, to say a few words.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon again, everyone. Before we begin with the first round of debating for today, on behalf of the entire English Debating Society, I would like to express our heartfelt thanks to Mr. Tyndale, Mr. Ratcliffe, and the entire English department for giving us this opportunity. We are truly honored and will try our best to fulfill our responsibilities with sincerity. We look forward to seeing many new faces this year and, as always, do our very best. Without any further delay, let us begin with the first debate, which is between Condon House and Fore House.
Thank you, Isha. Since all the new members of our English Debating Society are taking part in today's debate, Samira Oberoi has very kindly agreed to help with timekeeping. I thank you for that, Samira. As always, we shall be conducting the senior debate in two phases, both of which will be in the parliamentary format. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to express their views. After all three speakers from both houses have spoken, the first speaker of each house will return to the lectern to present their rebuttal. They will be given 2 minutes to do so. There will be no points of information or POIs, and cross-questioning is not permitted. Our judges for today are Mrs. Crispin, Mr. James, Mrs. Mukherjee, and Mrs. Pundin. Without further ado, we shall begin with the first debate, which is between Foy and Condon. Their topic is coaching hubs for competitive exams should be done away with. I now invite the Prime Minister of Side Proposition, Achintya Bansal, to express his views.
What is the difference between a broccoli done right and a broccoli overdone? A school and a coaching institute. The former retains your uniqueness, but the latter reduces you to mulch. A very good afternoon to the House at large. Today we as Side Proposition will prove to you how these coaching hubs act as termites that do nothing but absolutely damage and destroy the society. Therefore, as Side Proposition, we assert that they should be done away with. Moving on, I would like to drive your attention towards some of the recent current affairs. The Ministry of Education recently imposed a lot of laws on these coaching institutes, whereby they have made it clear that these coaching institutes are not supposed to enroll any students below the age of 16. Along with this, they have also told them not to follow some practices which me and my teammates will ponder upon later. Therefore, I do not understand that if the government itself is denouncing the practices done by these coaching institutes, how can Side Opposition so blatantly support them? Now, I would like to state that I object to the very existence of these coaching institutes because A, they deprive students of extracurricular activities, and B, they overwork students and exploit them, leading to burnout. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to bring your attention towards the activity we are currently engaged in, that is debating. An activity that not only enhances your communication and public speaking skills, but also enhances your creative and critical thinking abilities. Now, here I do not understand that if these coaching students will not get these skills, how will they survive in the corporate world, which is like the end point for them? Moving on, I would like to state that these coaching institutes simply impose what has been forced on you. They do nothing but manipulate parents to send their children to coaching institutes, because of which the children get exploited. Now, coming to the cruel practices done by these coaching institutes. Ladies and gentlemen, just imagine that today you have to sit for a test. And like this, you need to sit for a test every single week. But the catch is that this particular test decides what kind of teachers you will get, what kind of student to teacher ratio you will get, what kind of class you will get, and finally, what quality of education you will get. But it does not actually matter in what situation you were there on the day of the test. Sounds unfair, right? But this is what happens to millions of students out there studying in these coaching hubs. To end my debate with, I would like to use the words of Shreen Miglani, who took her own life because of the excessive pressure. Coaching institutes are like a pressure cooker, but without a vent pipe. Thank you.
Thank you, Akinta. I now invite Isha Lobha, the leader of the opposition, to express her views.
Quote, I absolutely believe that people, unless coached, will never reach their full potential. Unquote. Bob Nardelli. Good afternoon, respected judges, worthy opponents, and audience. Today I, as leader of the opposition, will be proving to you exactly why coaching hubs are essential, after which the deputy leader and chief whip shall further elaborate on and conclude our stance on the same. Ladies and gentlemen, my parents always taught me to explain things to people as I would to a 5-year-old child, and after hearing side proposition's argument, I believe that the time for that has finally arrived. I would like to begin my first constructive argument, the pros of coaching hubs. Now, a good school provides basic education. However, when it comes to cracking entrance examinations, students are tested in areas which are more suited for rote learners rather than the creative and inquisitive geniuses. Hence, coaching hubs. Coming to my second constructive argument, empathy. Members of the House, it is time for side proposition to stop being so inconsiderate and show just a little more attention and heed towards society's dire needs. Because if we adjust the lens and look at the topic at hand from a different perspective, we can see that there are so many students who need help and who can't understand things at one go. And yet members of the House, they dare to dream for a better future. So essentially, is side proposition trying to deny them a bright future and a lifetime full of happiness and success? Well, that's certainly something to think about. For such students, ladies and gentlemen, coaching institutions and their study materials are like a boon. They make subjects more palatable, topics easier to understand, and almost spoon-feed students through the entire process of entrance examinations. These sessions coaching institutes also allow one-on-one doubt-clearing sessions in which children can ask questions and receive expositions from experienced faculty members. These sessions are tailored to the specific needs of each and every individual child, allowing them to blossom and flourish. Therefore, to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly why side proposition's arguments are completely lopsided and flawed and based on a false dichotomy. Because the monster that we should be defeating today is not a simple coaching class that has been made to ease stress and enhance the rates of people succeeding, but rather the format of such competitive exams that force an individual to take such drastic measures in order to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Isha. I now invite Tejasvi Tolia, Deputy PM of Side Proposition.
Quote, education breeds confidence. Confidence breeds hope. Hope breeds peace. Unquote, Confucius. Good afternoon to the House at large. Today, I, as the Deputy Prime Minister of Side Proposition, will further consolidate my team's stand by shedding light upon the negative aspects of coaching hubs. Confidence, hope, and peace are three words you will never find being associated with coaching hubs. Instead, the only words you'll find being associated with these hubs are, sorry mom and dad, I'm a failure. I should have listened to you. How do you assume yourself to be a failure when you haven't even lived 20% of your life and are yet to discover your true potential? These coaching hubs breed fear into the hearts of these students who are under pressure of presenting a good performance every week. And as the Prime Minister of Side Proposition said, millions of students go through reshuffling tests every week which determine their social status. In just a matter of time, you can go from the very top to the deserted bottom when nobody cares if a student is making any progress. 50 to 60% of engineering and medical students drop out due to poor teaching, due to the demanding and complex nature of the curriculum, and due to a lack of belonging to the particular field. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, some of these students are forced into these coaching hubs due to the limited career choices that Indian families think they have for their children. Over the past week, newspapers throughout India showcased full-page advertisements of coaching hubs specializing in preparing students for JEE and NEET. They declared the commencement of new batches for both regular students and repeaters, targeting parents and their children. It is not a surprise that none of these hubs reveal two crucial aspects. Firstly, the success rate in terms of the number of students coached and the number of students who actually managed to crack the exam. And secondly, the fees charged. These advertisements manipulate anxious parents who are eager to see their children become doctors or engineers into believing that these coaching hubs somehow possess miraculous abilities. However, the truth remains that the seats available for these programs are limited. Consequently, many candidates end up being unsuccessful, leading to detrimental psychological effects of failure. Not to mention that because of the transition from coaching hubs to colleges, the emphasis shifts from memorization and test-taking techniques to a deep understanding of the concept, which most of the students studying in colleges lack these days due to structured coaching methods. These hubs bring nothing but disastrous changes and a big financial burden on the family. And as a bonus, they also hinder the students' personal growth and problem-solving skills. In conclusion, I would like to state that instead of focusing over whether coaching hubs are relevant or not, we should instead focus on the root of the problem and urge the government to improve the Indian education system and put an end to the destructive notions of the society. Thank you.
Thank you, Tejas. I now invite Ashman Goel, Deputy Leader of the Opposition, to express his views.
The rich are able to afford quality education outside school in coaching institutes. But the things are different for the poor. In spite of being brilliant, poor children are not able to do well in competitive exams. Don't you think that equality must be ensured among students from all brackets? It's time we drop this attitude once and for all, ladies and gentlemen. Let's accept the harsh reality. Yes, life is unfair. Yes, opportunities are unequal. That was the exact same reason that people are favoring reservations given to poor to sustain equality. But when the side proposition is done whining and complaining about life's natural hardships, let me disassemble their weak mentality and put forth a winner's thought process in front of you. Good afternoon to the House at large. I, Ashman Goel, the Deputy Leader, will further elaborate on the topic. Starting with my first constructive argument, when the side proposition stated that the poor are not given equal opportunities as the rich are in getting into the coaching institutes. But let me tell them, ladies and gentlemen, where there's a will, there's a way. Because there are various coaching institutes which provide free coaching to the economically disadvantaged students, such as Live for Upliftment in Pune, Maharashtra, Dhar District's Tribal Scheme in Madhya Pradesh, Dakshina Foundation, etc. It would be better for the side proposition to do their research thoroughly and perhaps get their facts straight before arguing. Now, starting with my second constructive argument, I'll be clearing out the reasons for suicide taking place in coaching hubs. Ladies and gentlemen, a coaching hub is a place providing coaching for any study program or competitive examination or academic support to more than 50 students at school, college, and university level. It's just a means for the students to prepare for their competitive examination, but the pressure exerted by the external forces is the real reason for them committing suicide. Coaching hubs are not to be blamed. And if the side proposition refuses to pay heed to any examples I've set forth, let me enlighten them and let them know that even the division bench of justices Sanjeev Khanna and S.V.N. Bhatti have said that coaching institutes cannot be blamed. It is the competitive atmosphere expelled out by the format of the exams, putting undue pressure on the children in a highly competitive environment, which is leading to the students ending their lives. But apparently, side proposition seems to disagree with the Supreme Court, the highest court of order in India. Therefore, in conclusion, I'd like to say that everything in this world has a positive and negative side. But it's simply up to us the side we choose to believe in. That matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashwin. I now invite Samriddhi Singh, Chief Whip of Side Proposition, to express her views.
For 17-year-old Shubham Goyal, roaming the streets of Kota and getting high is part of his daily routine after leaving his coaching institute for IIT JEE. Smoking cigarettes at a roadside tea stall with his friend, he talks about how for the longest time his only goal was to get into Kota, the hub for coaching for competitive examinations in India, but now plans to move back to his hometown in Rajasthan. While talking, the teen casually lights a joint, a heady concoction between tobacco and cannabis, and nobody bats an eyelid. Good afternoon to the House at large. Today, as the Chief Whip of Side Proposition, I will be proving how coaching hubs are only money-minded, money-grabbing dens that do not care about the well-being of your child, providing alternatives to coaching hubs, focusing on natural progression vis-a-vis a change in mindset. Coming to my first constructive argument, members of the House, we must take into consideration that all is not black and white at these bubbling coaching hubs. They are not only understaffed, but also have poor infrastructure with underqualified coaches, unrealistic goals, and of course, their mind and back-breaking curriculum. They consume you, they chew you up and spit you out without a second glance. I would like the opposition to focus on the statement I am about to make. All schools are not the same, but each coaching institution is. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the 13th of March. We are not even halfway through the third month of 2024, and yet more than 24 students have already committed suicide at these so-called coaching hubs. Can the opposition tell me why? Why was it necessary for these children to take their lives before they even began living it? I would like to begin my second constructive argument with one word: exploration. Today, it is easy to use my fellow teammates' example of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. But it wasn't as easy during his time, yet he made it big. I am talking about the right kind of career counseling, enabling and empowering the students to identify what they would like to pursue. And if it is competitive examinations, then pouring money and infrastructure into schools across the country to make that happen. Parallel education intervention has hampered the ingenuity and creativity of students. If you think that coaching hubs are a selfless organization doing great service to the country, you've got another thing coming. I would like to share a newspaper headline with you. Medicine is the flavor of the season. A slump in IT sector leads students to consider medicine. Those who want to do engineering opt for medical rather than computer science. Chilling, isn't it? What do Tejasvi, Achintya or Isha want to do? It does not matter. We must also not forget how misleading these coaching hubs are. Sohaib Aftab, NEET 2020 topper, was on the advertisement of over 13 hubs. This proves that these coaching institutions are nothing but a means to make money and exploit the lower middle class. 12th Fail, a movie released last year, also depicted how these coaching hubs pay money to the top ranking students to depict their success as the institute's success to attract more students to their hubs. I would like to end my debate using the wise words of Oprah Winfrey. Education is the key to freedom. It is the passport to unlocking the world. I urge you all to unlock your freedom through education rather than getting locked because of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Samruddhi. I now invite Samaira Goel, the Chief Whip of Side Opposition.
Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. William Butler Yeats. Good afternoon, respected judges, worthy opponents, and to the House at large. Today, I will be summarizing side opposition stance and proving to you that coaching hubs for competitive exams should in fact not be done away with. Firstly, competitive exams are something that are really important to a lot of students. Coaching hubs are an essential platform for such students, and with college acceptance rates getting lower and lower every single year, these students seek support from such platforms. Competitive examinations are the lifeline of a large majority of students. Why? Because they carry with them the promise of a secure future. By even talking about the removal of such institutions, we are depriving students of a better and brighter future. To strengthen my point furthermore, let me take you through a study that was conducted in Delhi, and it looked into a total of 4 institutions. The study found that coaching hubs were effective in improving student understanding of exam content and preparing students for exam taking. It also suggested that these institutions played a vital role in providing students with access to resources, mentorship, and guidance, creating an even playing field for each and every single student. Now let us go through this topic from the accessibility perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a whole group of people out there who cannot afford tuition, who cannot work to achieve their dreams, who do not have the necessary resources to prepare for such strenuous examinations. This is why coaching hubs are an essential part of our college education system. Certain coaching hubs are sponsored by the government. This simply means that now every single student has a fair opportunity. Coaching hubs allow people to achieve their dreams and become successful. It is purely immoral to take that away from the minorities. Now I will address the issue of stress and pressure that some students may be under. Clearly, running away from a problem seems so much easier because side proposition has completely managed to overlook the fact here today that it is not a defect within the coaching hubs. Rather, it is a systematic issue, an internal issue within our education system as a whole. Finally, banning coaching hubs would not improve our education system. If anything, it would exacerbate the underlying issues that are already existing. Students from disadvantaged backgrounds would not have access to good quality education and resources. And of course, it makes one think, if we are ready to let go of coaching hubs this easily, without even flinching, then what comes next? Are we ready to let go of colleges and schools too? In conclusion, coaching hubs for competitive examinations should not be done away with. Instead, we need to shift our focus on reforming our education system and creating an environment that is both inclusive and supportive towards our students. Coaching hubs are the backbone of students preparing for competitive examinations. Taking them out of the equation is not the solution. It is just fuel for the fire. Thank you.
Thank you, Samara. I now invite Isha Lodha, the leader of the opposition, to present her rebuttal. May I remind you that there will be no cross-questioning during this rebuttal, and please note that you get 2 minutes for this rebuttal. On exceeding this time, a bell will be rung to remind you of the time.
With the permission of the chair. Ladies and gentlemen, only two things here are infinite: the universe and human stupidity. And after hearing side propositions arguments, I have been completely sold on the latter. Now, we've just heard a very entertaining story from side proposition. A story so fake and cheesy that it could be made of Swiss cheese. And as we all know, Swiss cheese is nothing without holes and gaps in it, is it? So let me tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Side proposition has stated, and I quote, that coaching centers exploit the lower middle class. But I cannot even begin to fathom how that is possible when all that these institutes of greatness do is help in regularizing work and consistency in efforts. If the traditional school system becomes strong enough to obviate their necessity, then coaching classes would automatically grow obsolete. The key word here being if. And as to banning them or doing away with them, cite proposition that is simply a question of free market economics. They aren't illegal, and banning them would really hamper the growth of those students who need the extra assistance. Cite proposition has also repeatedly stated the cons of coaching centers without giving any valid reasons and spoken about places like quota and giving examples from movies as some sort of verification. But instead of going against the tide, many children and parents feel that coaching centers would help them overcome the hurdles that the system, and I repeat, the system of the competitive exams, not the coaching centers, places between them and a conventionally successful career. I would like to conclude in the words of Hemant Jain. After making government schools and universities good institutions, coaching centers would automatically close. Closing good things to protect bad things is not a good idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Isha. I now invite Achintya Bansal, Prime Minister of Side Proposition, to present his rebuttal.
A very good afternoon to the House at large once again. Before I start with my rebuttal, I would like to contradict all the statistics and all the studies mentioned by side opposition today by using the words of the great philosopher Disraeli, where he said, "Human lies are of three kinds: lies, utter lies, and statistics." They have not even mentioned the source of those studies which the third speaker so blatantly mentioned, and some of those studies are so unrealistic. Moving on, I would like to mention that side opposition today is acting like a farrago, a word from the English dictionary that means a confused mixture, because some of their members have not even understood the topic, and second, they have been contradicting themselves this whole time. To prove my first claim, I would like to focus on the thick speech made by the Deputy Leader of Opposition. He came up and talked about free education through coaching institutes. He gave examples of Dakshina Coaching Foundation and whatnot. But let me remind him that Dakshina Coaching Foundation only has 7 coaching institutes across India, and they have around 4,200 students compared to the 1,75,000 students which Allen Career Coaching Center has alone in the city of Kota. Their arguments are filled with so much of holes that even Swiss cheese that the leader of opposition mentioned would be shy enough. Ladies and gentlemen, it's high time we realize that just mentioning unrealistic statistics won't help them. Also, I would like to mention that side opposition today has taken the help of vitriolic stock phrases to convey their arguments. But it's high time they realize that using vitriolic stock phrases won't help them, but actual arguments will. Also, the second speaker wasted a lot of time on philosophical beliefs and reservations which are not even related to the topic. Not to mention, they have digressed from the topic a lot. The topic specifically says hubs. It does not say institutes, it says hubs. And when you go on Google and type famous coaching hubs of India, it says Kota, Mukherjee Nagar, Lakshmi Nagar, Old Rajinder Nagar. It does not say Dakshina Foundation or Upliftment of Little Champs or Allen or Akash or anything like that. We are talking about areas that have become like coaching capitals of India, not about specific coaching institutes. Not to mention, I would also like to say that side opposition is like one of those people who will say that drugs, alcohol, and cigarettes are not a bad thing. It's just the fault of the people who are using them. Because, ladies and gentlemen, they have been playing a blame game. They have been blaming the parents, the teachers, the fellow students, and everyone else but coaching institutes. But it's high time they realize that these coaching institutes are the root cause for all the miseries faced by the students of this nation. In the search of 1 carat of diamond, they're forgetting about the 1 ton of gold that is lying all around in their eyes. They're forgetting about the 99% of the students who cannot qualify those examinations because, ladies and gentlemen, last year, having 80,000 seats in government medical colleges, the number of applicants that sat for the NEET examination was 20 lakhs. You can see the contrast itself, and that is what proves my point. Moving on further, I would like to just end this rebuttal by saying that this coaching institutes, or rather coaching hubs, should not exist because they actually hinder this society's progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Akinta. Thank you, Foy and Condon. I request you to join the audience now. I also request Samira to collect the score sheets for the first debate from the judges. Allen House and Pal House, please come on stage and take your places. I also request the